So now we're gonna go ahead and do surface area of prisms and cylinders. Okay, so surface area is just like area. It's just that you're doing it on a 3D object. So we have lateral surface area and we have total surface area. Lateral surface area does not include the bases. Total surface area is faces plus bases. So like if you look at the room we're in right now, if I wanted to paint the walls in this room, would that be lateral or total surface area? Lateral, because I'm not including the floor and the ceiling. Okay, and the floor and the ceiling would be my bases in that case. Okay, we have some formulas. So we have a formula for lateral and a formula for total. Notice that the total does have the formula for lateral inside of it. It just adds the basis to it for total. Okay. What would the P stand for? Perimeter, but it's perimeter of the base. Okay. And then big B stands for area of the base. Okay, we're gonna do this example first. So cut it out and glue it to your piece of paper. All right, so it tells us to find the lateral and the total surface area, so we're gonna do both. So we're gonna write our formula first. Lateral equals P times H. And what does the P stand for again? Perimeter of the base. Now with a rectangular prism, you kind of choose what you decide to be the base, okay? Because as long as, remember, a prism just has to have, Jose, you want to give me that? Remember the base, it just has to have two base and rectangular faces. So you can say that these squares are the bases, or you can say that this rectangle that's on the bottom and this rectangle's on the top is the base. Okay, usually that's what y'all like to do. Y'all like to pick the one that's on the bottom. Okay, so that's fine. All right, so let's do the perimeter of it. So we'd have 15 plus 15 plus 32 plus 32. So that would be 94 for our perimeter. And so then the height connects the two bases. The height connects the two bases. So how far is this base from this base? 15. Okay. So then when you multiply those two things, what would be your your lateral surface area? 1,410 centimeters squared. Okay, then we're going to do the total. So when we're plugging in, we already know the pH part. So the pH part is the 1410 plus 2 times big B. What does big B stand for again? area of the base. Remember I had a rectangle base. How do I find the area of a rectangle? Multiply the base and height of the rectangle. So what's 15 times 32? 480? Okay. So then I can put that in the calculator. 410 plus 2 times 480. And what is that going to give me for the total? $2,370. 2,370 centimeters squared. Okay, now we're going to glue this triangular prism down. Alright, so we're going to do lateral and total again. So we have lateral equals PH. What does the P stand for again? Perimeter of the base. What kind of base do I have here? The triangles are my bases. Okay. Remember, if you have anything besides rectangles, those are your bases. Okay. So we have to find the perimeter first. This side's 4, this side's 5, and then if you look back here, you see that this side's also 4. So what's 4 plus 4 plus 5? 13. And then remember, your height represents how far away this base is from this base. So how far away are they from each other? 9.5 yards. And so when I do 13 times 9.5, 123.5 yards squared. And then we got the total. So I already plugged in the pH, which is the 123.5, plus 2 times the area of the base. What kind of base do I have now? A triangle base. So big B is going to equal 1/2 base times height of the triangle. Did they give me the base of the triangle?
Yes.
The base would be 5. Did they give me the height of the triangle? No, remember your height when you're doing 2D objects have to be a 90-degree angle there. So how would I figure out the height? Pythagorean theorem. So realize I have a triangle that has 4 and I have 2.5. Everybody understand where I got the 2.5 from? It's half of 5. Okay. And then I'm looking for this height. So what would be my C in Pythagorean theorem? 4. So I'm going to have 2.5 squared plus x squared equals 4 squared. So realize I had to do some side work to find big B, and then I had to do some side work to find the height so I could finish finding big B. So then 2.5 squared is 6.25 plus x squared equals 16. I'm going to subtract the 6.25. So I'll be left with x squared equals 9.75. And then I have to do, how did I get rid of a square? So I'm going to have the square root of 9.75, which is 3.122, and some other numbers. Okay. Remember, I told you don't round to the end. So in my calculator, I'm not using the rounded answer. So square root of 9.75 times 1/2 and times 5. So that's going to give me a base, a big B of 7.806 and some other numbers. Rayon, sit up. So then remember I did that so I can plug it into Big B over here. So 7.806. So now I can put that whole thing in the calculator. So 123.5 plus 2 times my last answer, which will give me 139.1 yards squared. Okay, on this one, we're going to do lateral. Most of the time, lateral is a little easier. Like, you don't have to do as much side work. All right, so my perimeter, notice that they have tick marks around the base. So that means all my sides are what? All my sides are 2. So 2 times 6 will give me what for my perimeter? 12. And then how far are my bases from each other for my height? 11. So that would give me a lateral surface area of 132 meters squared. So at least realize with the total you have half of it done when you do the lateral. So now we just need to figure out what Big B is. So Big B equals 1/2 apothem times perimeter, because it's a regular polygon. Did they give me the apothem? No. But I already figured out the perimeter was 12. So remember, to figure out the apothem, you have to make you a right triangle in it like that. This side will be how long in my right triangle? 1, because it would be half of 2. I need to figure out what my top angle is. So remember, for my top angle, I'm going to do 360 divided by 6 times 2, because it has 6 sides. So what's 360 divided by 12? 30. So my top angle is 30. So what do you know about this angle if this angle's 30 and this angle's 90? What do you know about this missing angle? It'd be 60. A 30, 60, 90 triangle. So we're going to use 30, 60, 90 because on your final exam, he used some 30, 60, 90 stuff that you couldn't use trig because you couldn't use a calculator. So I want to review 30, 60, 90 a little bit. So I'll write the formula down. Because like pretty much after I showed you trig, we stopped doing special rights. But if you don't have a calculator, then you need to do special rights. Alright, so remember to do a special right. You look at the side they gave you, which was 1. And what's the one across from the 30, 60, or the 90?
30.
The 30. So I'm going to put it here, where the 30 is. So guess what x equals? What does it say x equals?
1.
X equals 1. That's what the formula says. So here, instead of x, I could put what? 1. And since it's outside the radical, I really don't have to write the 1. I would just leave it as the square root of 3. And then across from the 90 would be 2, because it'd be 2 times 1. So remember, my goal was to find the apothem which is right here. What's the apothem across from the 30, 60, or the 90?
60.
The 60. So this is the number I wanted. The square root of 3. That's my apothem. So I'd put that in the calculator. 1/2 times square root of 3 times 12. Okay, I'm not going to round it that much. 10.392. Because remember, I don't want to round to the very end.
I was just saying for like the right.
Oh, okay. Alright, so here, I'm going to have 10.392 and those other numbers. And then I can just plug it in the calculator. So 132 plus 2 times that last answer, which gives me 152.8. See, you rounded too much.
Oh, 0.8%. I was looking at
152.8. What is that? Meters squared. Our last example is going to be the cylinder. Last example is the cylinder. Okay. Cylinders are easy to me because they don't usually make you do any side work. You just straight plug it in. So we have lateral, which is 2 pi RH. So what is my radius? 2, because it'd be half of 4. And what's my height? Remember, your height is how far the bases are from each other. 8.5. So I know I told you to round to the nearest tenth, but I want to do it in terms of pi also. So in terms of pi, in the calculator, I would multiply 2 times 2 times 8.5. And that would give me 34 pi meters squared. Or, if you round and actually multiply the pi, it'd be 106.8 meters squared.
So it would be 34 pi.
It'd be 34 pi or 106.8 meters squared. So I did it in both ways. I did it in terms of pi and rounding to the nearest 10. So then we have total. And we already have the 2 pi RH. I'm going to put the 34 pi in because I don't want a rounded answer. And then we already know that the radius was 2. So realize that would be 34 pi plus 8 pi, which would be 42 pi meters squared or 131.9 meters squared.